Okay, thanks everyone for being here this morning. This is going to be a short senior exit report. Normally they're an hour, but this is just 30 minutes. So this is Yohannes, and he's going to share with us about his time being a top scholar over the last 4 years.
Cool. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'll be going over my top scholar end of year / senior exit presentation. So just to kind of give you a quick outline, I've broken up the presentation into the 3 main pillars of top scholar: knowledge, leadership, and service. And some of my major accomplishments in each one, and then I'll finish it off with my next steps. So first is knowledge. When I first started UTSA, I had a semi-interest in pursuing biomedical research as a career. And so Christy connected me with Dr. E.O. Taylor, who runs the ESTEAM program, which basically prepares you for doing your PhD. So getting you interested in research labs, showing you the ropes, teaching you basically ins and outs of research, and also got me connected with Dr. Guda, where I started doing undergraduate research. And I started off by working on a 3D printed scaffolds for bone regeneration. And that project was really cool. And then when COVID hit, everything went virtual. So I started working on a computational project. And so that project I presented at Abercams and SACNAS in 2020, and was able to win a presentation award at the Abercams conference. And then continuing on the research note, I did an REU through the Harvard Medical School SHIRP program. And I worked on a computational analysis project looking at cardiac organoids maturation. And that was a really great experience. And I got connected with an amazing mentor who I still talk to this day and who has written me letters of recommendations. And so the following summer, I did another REU at the University of Pennsylvania through the DAPG program. And I was working on a computational genomics project looking at early detection of non-small cell lung cancer. And then finally, I wanted to finish this section off by talking about my study abroad, which I did in London, January in London program through the CIEE program. And I was taking a class on the UK's healthcare system called the National Health Service, which was a great experience to learn about how different healthcare systems can function. And I also learned even more that I didn't know about in our healthcare system, kind of comparing the two. And there I just have a picture of me at the Tower of London with one of the guards, and I got to watch them changing. So moving on to my service section. Ever since I started UTSA, I've always really enjoyed volunteering at the food bank. And so I've continued to do that throughout my time here, usually on the weekends and whenever I have time. And then also adopt a spot volunteering with that, the Top Scholar organization. And then lastly, I applied to the United Nations Association Millennium Fellowship program in 2020 or 2021, actually. And I worked on a food insecurity project called Swipe Out Hunger, where we are basically trying to start a donation drive for meal swipes, because typically at the end of every year, there's a lot of meal swipes that students have left over. And so being able to donate those to a drive where students in need could access them. And so I was working on that with a fellow top scholar who graduated now. And I was working on promoting it and bringing awareness and trying to basically get people to donate. We were able to donate up to 300 meals for the first year, which is a pretty big accomplishment. And then moving on to the leadership and professional development. So the first thing I wanted to highlight here is the medical device makeathon. I've been on the planning committee my entire time here. And I really enjoyed doing that. The medical device makeathon is a 48-hour competition to design a medical device given a certain prompt, which changes every year. And I was always had fun with planning that, staying up those 48 hours to compete 1 year, and then the rest of the years to just make sure the thing is running. Then moving on to next sort of leadership role I've held, which is the Biomedical Engineering Society Industry Outreach Chair, which I served last year. And basically I was in charge of planning and hosting tours at different biomedical engineering companies in San Antonio. And so I was able to host 5 tours at 5 different companies in San Antonio, and basically allow our members to connect with these companies and learn about the companies, and some of them even gave out internship and job opportunities. And then for the past 3 years, I've done the BMES National Conference, which is always a great experience to get together and connect with basically everyone in my field, and just learn about all the new things and up and coming things that people are working on in industry and academia. And then last year, my junior year, I got interested in entrepreneurship. So I competed in the UTSA Big Rowdy Idea Business Competition and placed second with my team. And by extension, I did the entrepreneurship boot camp, which allowed me to learn about the ins and outs of starting up your company, and specifically with biotech companies. And then last summer, I did an engineering R&D internship at BD, which was a great experience to see how medical devices are brought to the market. And I also got to meet a lot of people there, working in so many different functions across the company. And my mentor from that summer has also been an amazing mentor. I still talk to him to this day. And then the last thing that I wanted to highlight is the UTSA Draper Data Science Business Competition that I competed in recently and won first place. Also a biotech idea there. So just continuing my interest in entrepreneurship and business, and learning about how to pitch your idea to potential investors, which I think is going to be a useful skill to have going forward in the future. And then lastly, I wanted to highlight my next steps and what I'm doing after this. And so I will be going to graduate school for the next 5 years of my life. I am going to be attending the joint Georgia Tech and Emory University PhD program in biomedical engineering. And there I was selected for a cardiovascular training grant. So that'll be the research field sort of category that I'll be working in. And then I've kind of already identified a couple of mentors that I want to work with, but I'll be able to narrow that down once I get there and I get to actually rotate with each of these mentors and meet with them. But yeah, with that, I pretty much conclude my presentation. Open it up for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Yohannes. I hope as you leave and time passes that you continue to recognize all you think here. Questions from others?
For your resources, new resource to the your classroom, and then a lot of them are in field, so you can this field, so just make sure you kind of help and support them. A lot of them are looking up to you all with the REs that you've done. Just kind of share the resources that you probably want to do.
Cool.
Our next presenter is Tristan, and he will do his senior exit report as well. We have a few minutes.